Let me say something that would shock some people. Christianity isn't a mindless belief system of blind faith. It's just not. It is faith. This isn't blind faith. It's built on eyewitness accounts. It's built on truth. And so it's not just blind faith. It's a logical thought process. Now, I want to take the exact opposite and talk to you about secularism for a moment. Secular thinking doesn't get peace by thinking. All right, so Christians, Paul says, I'm going to talk about peace, but I'm going to give you this knowledge. I'm going to remind you Christ is risen from the dead. I'm going to remind you that he had victory on this earth. I'm going to remind you what he did for you. And so let's think about the peace that can come from all that he's provided. But secularism doesn't do that at all. As a matter of fact, secularism, the secular school of thought, simply says this. It says, how do you get peace? It very rarely ever starts with a worldview. Secular peace, when you read about it, they'll say, hey, look at your schedule and balance your work and balance your recreation and, all your relationships, and then you'll have some peace. How do you deal with stress? How do you deal with anxiety? Look at your eating habits. Well, look at your schedule. Think about your meditation principles. Think about exercise. Hey, take care of your body and take maybe these medications. And the secular worldview has no spiritual answer, so it has to go to physical answers and techniques to tell you how to get your peace, all right? And I'm going to tell you why. The secular worldview, and you'll rarely find people, but sometimes you'll find people who will admit this, the secular worldview is totally, completely hopeless. Because here's what it says. It says, I'm here by accident. There's no intelligent designer. I don't have a purpose in life because I'm here by accident. And so therefore, not only that, but the logical conclusion of it is that there's no morals because there's no intelligent designer, so we're here trying to figure out morals on our own. And so that leaves you hopeless because it could be that our kids in our secular society is heading this way. It could be that our kids say, hey, someone who's 75, they're a tax on society. We're costing money for their health care. So let's just euthanize everybody over 75. And I'm going to tell you, there are plenty of societies in this world that's where they're heading. Why? Because when society says we're secular and there's no authority, then guess who the authority is? The powerful ones. That's an evolutionary Darwin theory that says the survival of the fittest. So in the secular worldview, all that matters isn't morals because that comes from God. All that matters is power. And so if we have more authority, if we have more influence, if we have more money, if we have a greater number than you, then we will impose our will on you. That's sort of bleak. That's the secular worldview. So you know what the secular worldview does? They don't think about that. They don't think and go, my worldview tells me that, if this, then that, and they don't think about the implications of their worldview typically. And when they do broach on that, they have to get away from that, and the way they get away from that is alcohol or drugs or busyness, spending, shopping, eating. I got to drown that. I got to get that as far away from my mind as possible. It's mindless. It really is. It's escapism. But let me tell you about the Christian worldview. The Christian worldview says there's a God in heaven who loves you, and in spite of the fact that we turned away from him, he turned heaven and earth upside down, came to us in the form of his son because he loves us. He died for us. He rose again, and he made a way possible for us to be reconciled to him. It's filled with incredible hope, and you have to think that out. If you believe that, you have to confront who Jesus is. You have to confront the truth of the Word of God. You have to think it out. And secularism is often just laziness, totally ignoring the implications of their worldview.